Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. I've been doing that all day. I don't know what day it is, but I think it's Wednesday. So happy Wednesday. Come on in. Want to hop on really quick and pour into you guys. I'm kind of tired and I have a lot more work to do. So forgive me in advance, but it's going to be good, I promise. So come on in and invite your followers as you are coming in. Swipe up or left or right, whatever device you are on, and also give hearts. Thank you in advance for that. Also, if you have not signed up yet for the Position to Prosper webinar, do that. I think we are already about a third of the way full, so sign up for that. The link is in the title, but it's bit.ly/position to prosper. So sign up for that, and if you've already signed up, invite somebody. Invite somebody to join with you. We're going to have live chat going on, so you'll be able to meet some other people and interact with the other people that signed up as well. So invite somebody. I've been guilty of that too. I sign up for something and I kind of keep it to myself. But you know what? It's a poverty mentality. So if you think that something's going to be good and something is going to bless you, share it with somebody else. Let's grow together. All right. So bit.ly/position to prosper. All right, so let's jump into this. So today we're talking about, is the mob robbing you of your destiny? Is the mob robbing you of your destiny? And what mob am I talking about? I'm not talking about, Italian mafia or anything like that. But understand that there is an enemy that's after you, right? If you're a child of God and there's a calling on your life, which there is if you're a child of God, there are forces that are trying to stop you from doing that. So there is a mob that is after you. And when you think about a mob, I looked up, just to give you a definition of that. It says a mob is a large and disorderly crowd, right? A criminal organization like the mafia. So Satan and all his little minions and whatnot, yeah, they are a disorderly crowd, but they're not really that disorderly because they're strategic. Right? They are very strategic and they know what they're doing when they're, upsetting you and distracting you and all of that. So just know that there is a spiritual mob that is robbing you of your destiny. And I want to go through three of these. There's a lot of them, but I want to address three of them today. MOB stands for something. You guys, if you tuned into me at all, you know that I like to give 3 points. I'm pretty direct, so we're going to keep that going tonight. So the M stands for mammon. Mammon, not a mammoth, but mammon. M-A-M-M-O-N. So in Matthew 6:24, it lets us know it's like you cannot serve both God and mammon, right? Which some translations say money. So we have to pick which one we're going to be led by when God calls us to do what he's called us to do. So you could be working a job right now and you know that God has had it in your heart, whether it is to leave a job, whether it is to pursue some calling on your life, but because you're comfortable with a steady paycheck, right? Because you're in debt, you're not managing your money well, you're not obeying the Lord. You're not obeying the Lord. And mammon is really a spirit that is on money. People misquote this all the time. They say money is the root of all evil, and that is not true. Money doesn't have a personality. Whoever's hands it's in, money reflects that. So money can either operate for the kingdom or it can operate for darkness, either or. And mammon is just the spirit that is behind it, right? And we cannot serve both God and the spirit of mammon. So you cannot pursue your calling if you're afraid about money all the time. You can't be afraid to make money. You can't be afraid to not have money, but we have to trust God. So think about the rich young ruler. It wasn't about his stuff, right? He catches a lot of flack. He had riches. He's like, but God, I done kept all these laws. What else do I need to do? And Jesus told him, he was like, I need you to go sell all your stuff and then come follow me. It was not about his stuff. It was about his heart. He had made his stuff an idol in his heart. And so we do the same thing. It's like, God, I'm serving you. I'm singing on the praise team, on deacon board and everything else. But if God said, you know what? It's time for a change. I need you to sell your house. I need you to sell your car. I need you to give above and beyond you've ever given before. And you kind of like, that ain't my Jesus. All of a sudden, that's not your Jesus, right? But it was your Jesus when they were telling you, God's got a blessing with my name on it. He was your Jesus then. But when he came and asked for you to give that money away, all of a sudden, oh, that wasn't your Jesus. You weren't hearing from the Lord anymore, right? Right. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Come on. We have been there. And so we can't serve two masters. So the spirit of mammon, yes, that is an enemy of yours. And you cannot be worried about money and pursue God at the same time. It's just impossible, because God may not show you how he's going to provide up front, but he's saying, no, I want you to step out and then I'm going to provide, because it's a trust issue. It is a trust issue. It's not about your stuff, but God wants all of us. He wants our entire heart. And so, yeah, he's going to pull at the things that we are attached to and say, hey, who do you love more? Who do you love more? Do you love me more, or do you love your stuff more? And when we think about Abraham, right? He wanted his son, and God promised him his son, and God gave him his son. He was like, okay, I need you to go lay that down. He's like, whoa, okay. And he did it, but guess what? It was, again, a test of his heart. And God was like, whoa, I don't need you to, I don't need you to kill your son. I got a ram over here for you. I provided the sacrifice for you. So God will just ask you to sacrifice things sometimes as a test, and he's not really going to make you, give up your house or sell your car. Sometimes he will, because he's trying to get you somewhere else. But other times he's like, I just want to know if you're going to do it. I just want to know, who do you love more? Do you love your stuff more? Do you love the things that I can give you more? Or do you love me? And so we're going to be tested. We're tested in the basic stuff, tithes and offerings. He can't even get us past that, right? We're still complaining about having to give 10% and keeping 90. Really? Really? Come on, guys. And so it's like, if he can't even get us to do that, there's no way you're going to be able to let go of something even greater to go pursue your calling. So just know that is going to come, and we have got to get rid of and beat the spirit of mammon that is in our lives if we're going to pursue the calling that God has for us. Guys, we're supposed to be separate from the way that the world is, right? Do not conform to the patterns of this world. So yeah, something should look different. We shouldn't be just as miserable as everybody else on our job. We shouldn't be wandering around just like everybody else. We shouldn't be so, money hungry and penny pinching like everybody else because we're scared about where the next dollar is going to come from. We should be different because we are children of God, and we trust our Father, that we sing he is such a good Father. But when Daddy asks for that offering, that ain't my daddy anymore. You a good dad up until you ask me to give that, and that's not right, y'all. So the M is mammon. The second thing is this: opinions. Opinions, y'all. And write this down: Galatians 1:10. I'm paraphrasing it, but you can go look it up yourself. Galatians 1:10 says, "Am I trying to win the approval of people or God?" And we, again, have to pick between the two. Who are you serving? Are you serving your mom or your dad? Are you serving your friends? Are you serving, your pastor and your church friends? Who are you really trying to please when God calls you to do that thing? And that doesn't mean that you don't get counsel. You should get counsel, but you should be very careful about the counsel that you get, because you will have a lot of people talking, well, no, you shouldn't do that. And it's coming from sources that they haven't done anything either. So they're not really qualified to speak into your life that way. So opinions are sometimes enemies of your destiny, depending on where they come from. And we cannot be afraid to go against the grain of what other people are feeling or sensing, because God didn't call them. He called you, right? God called you. And so write this down. And so if you're one of those people that struggles with that aspect, what are people going to think of me? Who are you trying to please? Who are you trying to please, and why? Who are you trying to please and why? And this goes for people that are pursuing degrees. Now, someone told you, well, if you want to make a whole lot of money, you need to go pursue a business degree, but in your heart, you're something else. that God has called you to do something creative. It could be dance, and they're like, well, you can't make any money in dance, but God called you to that. That's the mountain that God called you to, right? Well, you can't make any money. Again, that goes back to the first one, which is mammon, right? I'm not going to pursue my calling because there's no money in it. God didn't call you to it because of the money that was in it. He called you to it because of the difference that you're supposed to make while you're in that industry. It's about His glory. It's not about your bank account. Right? I'm not saying God won't bless you and God can't bless you, but it's not about your bank account. It's about His glory. So what are the opinions that are keeping you stuck because you don't know what people are going to say, or you're worried about disappointing somebody because, you know, grandma and mama and all of them had the same titles, all of them had the same profession, so naturally you should fall in line. And that's just not the case. God could be calling you out of that for a specific reason, and you have got to be willing to break free of the opinions of other people in order to do what God called you to do. And what's behind that? It's really a spirit of rejection. Again, these are spirits, y'all. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and all that. So you're not wrestling against people. There's spirits behind all of this. So if you're afraid of disappointing people, then yeah, it's a spirit of fear. You know, if it's a fear of man, we talked about that again. Fear is not a feeling, it's a spirit. So you got to deal with that. And I'm going to be hitting on, you know, a lot of this stuff to deal with deliverance because it's not talked about, but it's real. And I'm not saying all of it is spirit driven, but a lot of it is because we've just ignored it and we've just gone along with it. All right. So mammon, opinions, and the last one is this, your butt. And I don't mean the one you're sitting on, which that could be one too, because laziness will get you nowhere. Your butt might keep you away from your destiny, but I'm talking about your excuses. Your butts, meaning your excuses, right? And one of these proverbs, I laugh every time I read it. Proverbs 22:13, and it says, the sluggard says, there's a lion outside, I'll be killed in the public square. Now that is his excuse for not doing what he needs to do. And I'm not saying that, you know what God calls you to do won't be scary. It will be scary. But that can't be the excuse. Again, fear is a spirit. It's not a feeling. And we got to be afraid and do it anyway. And trust that God is with us and for us. All right. So don't be saying, well, you know, it's scary out there and I might die, God. So nah, I need you to call somebody else. No. He knew the conditions before he called you, and he called you anyway. So God is not here for our excuses. The other one is Ecclesiastes 11:4. Ecclesiastes 11:4, and it says, whoever watches the wind will not plant, whoever looks at the clouds will not reap. So we can't wait for perfect conditions. Someone that I follow is Marshawn Evans Daniels, and she's like, you got to start before you're ready. Start before you're ready. Now, does that mean that you don't plan it all and just go out here being reckless? No, that's not what that means. But what it means is you're never going to have it all together. You're never going to have it all together. You're always going to be learning. You're always going to be growing. And at some point, you have got to step out there and go with it. I talked about before, you know, your weaknesses are not more powerful than God's grace. His grace is sufficient for you. And we see so many people in the Bible that had excuses. Think about Moses. Well, I got a stuttering problem, Lord. I can't go in front of the Pharaoh, right? God's like, I don't care. I called you, but, you know, out of his mercy, he's like, fine, I'll send your brother with you, Jeremiah. But what about, you know, I don't know, God, if I'm really qualified for this. I'm kind of young. I don't know. He's like, I don't care. I knew that before I called you. So we have to get rid of our excuses, right? And honestly, it's a spirit of pride. It's called Leviathan. If you want to look it up, it's in the Bible. Do your research on it. Leviathan, the spirit of pride. It is pride. We think we're greater than God and our weaknesses are greater than He is. That's what it is. Insecurity is really, it's pride. It is what it is, you know, and so we just have to be very, very careful of that. And also, we just think we got, you know, unlimited time here. Well, I'll do that next year. I'll get to it later. No, tomorrow is not promised to any of us. Not promised to any of us. And so we have to get the spirit of pride out of our systems. Again, it's an enemy of yours. trying to stop you from getting to your destiny. All right, so let's just be very intentional. Let's open our spiritual eyes and our ears and really see these things for what they are. It's not people, it's not you, it's not all of you. These are spirits that are trying to cloud you and distract you and keep you from doing what God called you to do. So we need to be praying for God. God, you know, I come against the spirit of fear, and let your power rest. Speak his word. God hasn't given us a spirit of fear. He's given us a spirit of power, of love, and a sound mind. I'm more than a conqueror. I can do all things through Christ. So we got to speak these powerful words over our lives. And they're just not sayings and affirmation. No, it's the truth of God's word. Sometimes you got to encourage yourself, right? In the Lord, you do. So it helps if you know your word, because you're going to need to speak over yourself and hide his word in your heart so that you can access it when you need it. Okay? So I hope that's helpful for you guys. We got to get going on this thing, and that's why I'm doing this webinar. It is completely free, you guys, because I just want to pour into you and help propel you into your destiny. There's too many of us that have callings, and we're just sitting around going through the motions like everybody else, like we don't have anything to do. No, you have something to do. You have something to do, and we can't always just wait for somebody else to come tell us what. You got to go sit at the feet of Jesus and God. Lord, what is the calling that you have on my life? How do you need to prepare me and all of that? All right, get prepared for it, pursue it, do what you got to do, because we have work to do. All right, so I'll leave you with this. I posted it on Instagram earlier. If you're not following me on there, you can do that at Arianne. But I said start where you are. Use what you have and do what you can. You just got to get started. Start where you are, right? Use what you have and do what you can. God is not going to ask more of you than he knows you already have. So he knows what your limits are. He knows what your weaknesses are. He just wants you to trust him and just get out of the boat so we can go change this world. All right, so sign up for the webinar, bit.ly/position to prosper. I love you guys. Share this with a friend, invite your followers, and I will talk to you again soon.